Oh, Lindy Hop is a great American tradition, which is well loved here, which is the reason why you're here. Swing Patrol have brought you over. But as someone who's been in the business for many, many years, I have to ask you about going back to your childhood days. And who was it that you saw dancing that made you want to Lindy Hop?
Well, Lindy Hop was the dance of the times. I was a dancer all my life. I followed the trends of all dancing. When I was a kid, the main dance was the Charleston. I did the Charleston. And then I lived in Harlem in back of the Savoy where this dance called the Lindy Hop, which actually was named in 1927, but I was there when they named it. I was one of the kids that this dance came out of 1927. It was what they're all doing. Like you see in a ballroom, people doing a two-step, whatever it is, kids follow that. And that's what I did. I was always a dancer. And then when the Lindy Hop began to be the dance, I followed that. And then I had an opportunity to dance with the world's, at that time, the world's greatest dancer, who was one of the creators of this dance. And his name was Twist Mouth George. And I was a kid, 12 years old, in the street, dancing, listening to the bands dancing. And he asked me to come up to the ballroom and dance with him. And that's what I did. The dance in 1927 was the Lindy. And I did the Lindy from the beginning of when it started.
Amazing. And so it's the era, isn't it, of 1920s swing, it's Cotton Club, it's all of that era.
Now we're going from Charleston, us individuals, you go now to partner dance. Now, the dance they began with was a dance called the breakaway. You see, now these were the dancers who created the dance that developed into what we eventually called the Lindy. The first group would have been Shorty Snowden and his trio. And Twistmouth George was one of these beginners of this dance. So consequently, the dance progressed from 1926. See, the ballroom was a place where all dancing came because the music came from the ballroom. The music was being developed and the dancing was being developed. And like I'm the next generation kid in the street, I'm looking at what I'm seeing and I'm following what these dancers are doing. And that's how that progressed.
And for people who've been watching your moves on the internet now, because we've learnt about you through that or through the films, your movement is so fast. First off, I have to ask you about the agility and what went into having such agility.
Well, being young first, but we began going from a style that was called the Lindy. Now we're the next youngsters coming up, this thing called competition. We began competing and who could do this dance. And did you know the name Frankie Manning?
Yes.
Well, Frankie competed against a man by the name of Shorty Snowden in the first Lindy Hop contest at the Savoy Ballroom. So when Frankie danced, he put in what began to be the first air step. He competed against the older dancers. And that was what determined the next generation style of dancing. That became the acrobatic style of dancing because that's where it began. And now being young, we wanted to try steps that was never tried before. But we trained that we to dance, to do a step within bar phrases. In other words, if you got it's an 8-bar phrase, you did the air step in an 8-bar phrase, and you're doing it at a pace. But being young, you could do it. I wouldn't have attempted it now.